Well, this was a great weekend for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They not only defeated the Detroit Lions, but they were able to watch on Sunday Night Football as the Ravens were bested, and that allows the Steelers the possibility of winning the AFC North title this weekend. Of course, they could wind up taking the field knowing they won the AFC North title, pending what happens between the Packers and the Ravens on Saturday Night Football, alongside Missi Matthews and Mike Prizzuta filling in today. I'm Rob King. We thank you for being with us for the matchup presented by Shell Polymers. And Missy, let's start with you. Just not only a great weekend for the Steelers, but a really terrific win over the Lions.
Yeah, I liked, the defense was able to stop them, most importantly, those final few seconds. And I think for the Steelers offense, just seeing the run game getting going, the way Aaron Rodgers was able to manipulate the Lions defense, I thought, complimentary football at its finest.
3 straight wins now, Mike.
And this one, I think, is in a category of its own because of how tough it was. And you heard Mike Tomlin talk about this Tuesday, the opportunity for individual and collective growth when you have to overcome as many challenges as they overcame in that Detroit game. They all count one, but I think this one's going to be worth more than one because I think it's a different team moving forward.
Okay, so let's get to our keys of the game, and we're going to start with the Steelers, of course, on offense. It's a very good Browns defense. It's second in the NFL in yards allowed per game. They're more middle of the pack against the run, and so that's going to be my key. Let's keep the running game going against this team. They have an excellent middle linebacker in rookie Carson Schwessinger. They have a very good front four, certainly led by Mason Graham and, of course, Myles Garrett, who we'll get to a little bit in the passing game. But, the Steelers, Mike, have been able to run the ball effectively, and we're starting to see a lot of the pieces come together for them to be more consistent week in and week out. 2 45-yard touchdown runs by Jaylen Warren against the Lions, the most rushing yards they've had in ages, as they got 230 yards on the ground in this game.
And it's a team effort. The line is playing really well. The tight ends are contributing. The wide receivers are contributing. That's how you get those home run type of plays. It's coming together at the right time. And I was particularly surprised and impressed by their ability to make the 74 is eligible thing work, even though 74 Spencer Anderson was actually starting at left guard. Arthur Smith talked about that as being unconventional, the use of 2 guys at left guard, because when Anderson goes to the extra position, you have to take him out and then put him back in. That can get really convoluted, but they just stayed with it. They were persistent with it. And you mentioned Cleveland kind of middle of the road in run defense. Buffalo, $164 on the ground. Chicago, $142. Tennessee, 184 rushing yards against that Browns defense. They can be run on.
Let's hope they can keep it going, Missy, this week.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, it goes back to making the offense less predictable and being able to see what Aaron Rodgers has done. Obviously, DK Metcalf. I know we'll get to a lot of that as well. And we don't know the status yet of Calvin Austin. But I agree with Spencer Anderson. When that was happening in Detroit, I was talking to our producer, wait, Pete's in there now. Okay, I can't figure out how and why they're changing because of how unconventional it was, but they made it work, and I think this young offensive line is growing together. You're seeing some somersault celebrations, good things happening from them, and maybe they'll even get Isaac Seumalo back this week too.
And by the way, happy holidays and Merry Christmas to you. As we tape this, we don't know for sure who's going to be playing wide receiver. We do know that DK Metcalf will not be playing at wide receiver. So that leads us to your key, Mike, because they've been able to make some plays down the field. So how do they continue that against, again, Denzel Ward and a very good Brown secondary?
Yeah, I think it's going to be the same sort of philosophy that Aaron Rodgers has had all year. I throw it to the guy who's open. So who's going to get open? You have some guys, the veteran newcomers, Adam Thielen and Marquez Valdez-Scantling. They've been assimilating, and they've had a lot on their plate initially, but I think more can be put on both of those guys' plates. You look at a guy like Roman Wilson. Mike Tomlin brought him up on Tuesday as a guy who's got a potential opportunity to show some growth. Even Scotty Miller, you could have been forgiven for forgetting Scotty Miller was a part of the offense. He catches 3 passes in that Lions game, 3 in 5 snaps on the same possession. One of them was 4th and 2. And one of them was 3rd and 4. So if you get open, you're probably going to get the ball. Just catch it.
Yeah, love having Scotty. every team should have a Scotty Miller and a Connor Hayward. You know what I mean? Two guys you can just put in there, and it seems like in any situation, and they're able to come through for you.
Yeah, and I think Aaron Rodgers really values the veteran presence of the wide receiver. Scotty Miller has been here throughout the entire process, but I remember back in training camp and the preseason games, Aaron talking so highly of Scotty and how you can put him anywhere and do anything, and he will do exactly what he's supposed to do. And when Calvin Austin got hurt in that game, Scotty stepped in, and you would have not known any difference. And I think with Thielen, it almost seemed like a luxury when they picked him up. Like, we don't necessarily need him, but I just think what he has brought has been tremendous, and I'm sure that is somebody who we're going to see more involved in the game plan this week against Cleveland.
You know, and that was one of the things that really intrigued me about Scantling, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. The history with Aaron Rodgers, particularly with the deep ball stuff, they came so close against Detroit, but maybe that happens once or twice a game in the absence of Metcalf, and really helps you overcome that.
That wouldn't be bad. We take that. We'd accept that. Okay, so let's get to Missi's key. And look, we say this through gritted teeth. Myles Garrett's having a great season. He's having an historic season. We know they've got good players. Mason Graham has been really good at defensive tackle as a rookie. Denzel Ward, we mentioned Schlesinger, another rookie. Let's face it, Myles Garrett is the guy that can single-handedly help you pull an upset by a couple strip sacks, by making some plays. You can't allow that to happen if you're the Steelers.
No, and Coach Tomlin was very blunt when asked why have the Steelers not had success in Cleveland recently, Myles Garrett. And just what he's been able to do, yes, 22 sacks on the verge, 1 sack. He will break the record past TJ Watt and Michael Strahan for the most sacks in a single season. The Browns have 49 sacks. Myles Garrett has 22 of them. And in his 15 games against the Steelers, 46 tackles, 13 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, and 1 fumble recovery. So this is somebody who has been a menace to the Steelers forever, and I'm sure he would want nothing more than to break the record that TJ Watt is part of against the Steelers.
And I'll mention this, and I absolutely agree. And you know, when the Steelers have been running the football, but not only that, some of the things they've been able to do on first down. So that kind of blends our keys into Missi's keys. They've had success on first down the last few weeks. You don't want to be in a hostile environment and get into 3rd and long, because that's when Myles Garrett's going to shine.
Yeah, and the other thing you can do is just work away from them. If you watch the Cleveland-Buffalo game, it looked like the Bills' game plan. I wasn't in on the meetings, obviously, but it looked like job one was, we're not going to let Myles Garrett wreck this game. So they threw it very infrequently. They ran the ball really well. And when they passed, it was bootleg to the right, move the pocket to the right, away from Garrett. Josh Allen only threw it 19 times.
Yeah.
That's one way to keep him down. There are not a lot. It's a good defense, but there are not a lot of guys of Garrett's stature. There are not a lot of guys anywhere of Garrett's stature. But if you eliminate that one big problem, you can deal with the other little problems much more efficiently.
All right, it is time now for our weekly predictive challenge, in which you get to play against Steelers Nation to answer the question. The question this week is, will Joey Porter Jr. record at least 1 interception? And we are giving away an autographed Joey Porter Jr. jersey, a $50 Steelers Pro Shop gift card, and a classic terrible towel. Up next, the Steelers defense looks to keep rolling when they take on Shedeur Sanders and the Browns, and we'll break down the keys for you when the matchup presented by Shell Polymers continues.
Our fans are here. Give them something to cheer about to them.
The crowd at Acrisure is so loud.
There's nothing like game day in Pittsburgh.
Oh my, TJ!
This defense is swarming.
And it's picked off. Wow, what a catch! Get 2, touchdown, Pittsburgh Steelers.
We'll see you at Acrisure Stadium. Here we go.
Well, the Steelers will try to do something Sunday they haven't been able to do in any of the last 3 seasons, and that is win a game in Cleveland against the Browns. Thanks again for being with us for the matchup presented by Shell Polymers with Missi Matthews and Mike Pizzuta. I'm Rob King. And let's get to our keys when the Steelers are defending the Cleveland Browns, led by Shedeur Sanders. And for me, it stopped the running game. it maybe gets a little bit easier with Quinshon Judkins out of this game. Missi, he's obviously another part of that rookie class. They've got a very good rookie class in Cleveland. He'd become their guy, had over 800 yards rushing, by more than half the team's total rushing yards for the rookie Quinshon Judkins, who, again, remember, missed the beginning of the season and missed training camp coming off an injury in his time with Ohio State and leading up to the draft. So to me, can they stop the running game? And it's the other Sanders, Raheem Sanders. You see Shedeur handing off to him. That's a big factor. That I'm sure they want to get Shedeur into third and manageable situations, stop the run, force him into third and long.
Yeah, I think, the Steelers' run defense was a little inconsistent. You'd see them stop Jonathan Taylor, then, give up a lot of yards on the ground to other teams. I think based off the Dolphins game, and then you have what they were able to do last week in Detroit, just totally flipped the script on what the Lions offense likes to do and what they want to do. And it was with that pressure in the middle, the return of Derek Carman. Hopefully that is something that you can continue to build on and stack upon, and hopefully some other guys get back eventually. But I just thought Cam Hayward, as you're seeing right there, he just continues to impress, and the young guys, starting with Derek Carman, have really helped as well.
All right, let's get to Mike's key, and that is find Fannin. Again, rookie. It's been kind of a theme for them. They've got an excellent rookie class. Harold Fannin's become their guy. He's by far their leading receiver.
Yeah, came out of Bowling Green, but in college, Kinger, he had big games against big-time programs when Bowling Green stepped up in class, and he has assimilated quickly to the NFL, leads the team with 701 receiving yards, 70 catches, 5 receiving TDs, also 105 targets. And I think what you're going to see is a lot of short, controlled stuff. There you see him moving laterally, a lot of the play-action boot game. Fannin is the main target. He scored a touchdown against Buffalo when he went in motion and then back from where he came at the snap. And you'll see him running toward the sideline, making an outcut, and then he's a turn the ball up the field after the catch, yak guy. They also used him in the backfield, and he scored a goal line touchdown on a 1-yard run. So they're going to try to get him the ball as often as they can, but most of it's going to look like just what you're seeing here. This was his receiving touchdown against the Bills. Shedeur Sanders doesn't have to throw it very far. Just move the pocket a little bit, find him in space, and let him do the rest.
And so it's a good thing that the Steelers have followed our game plan thus far as before we get to Missi. Right? They've stopped the run. They've limited Fannin. Now they're in third and long, and this is where the Steelers can maybe really get to Shedeur Sanders. Had a reputation for just holding the ball way too long in college. He's been sacked a ton, 6 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Feels like rookie quarterback Mike Tomlin, this is the guy they can get to.
Yeah, and his interceptions since week 12, the most in the NFL. And I think, too, the way the Steelers defense has been playing, especially with Jalen Ramsey and company on the back end, to confuse a rookie quarterback. This is one of those games, I'm sure, as he is watching their film, probably thinking, oh man, I'm going to have to really trust my gut or know what they're going into, what they're trying to do to stop us. And Mike Tomlin, it used to be the Dick LeBeau record, but Mike Tomlin is 28-6 against rookie quarterbacks. So I do think there's something about this defense and the way they play and how physical they are that they can make it very uncomfortable for him.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with confused. If you can take this guy's first read away, that's when it starts to get interesting for the defense, because that's when you start seeing Shedeur Sanders holding the ball and looking a little uncertain and giving things an opportunity to collapse around him.
Well, a couple different ways the Steelers can win their first AFC North title since 2020. That is watching on Saturday Night Football as the Packers defeat the Ravens. If that doesn't happen, go ahead and defeat the Cleveland Browns on Sunday. Kickoff is scheduled for 1 p.m. in Cleveland. For Missi Matthews, for Mike Pizzuta, for our entire Steelers production crew here in the studio, I'm Rob King. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Thanks for being with us for the matchup presented by Shell Polymers.